Shalom. I'm Pop Samuel again, Elder Pop Samuel.
Shalom, I'm Elder Stephen.
As you know, we made the first video of Isaiah 14, and we talked about what is mercy. God will have mercy on Jacob and the stranger that sojourned with Jacob, but Israel will possess both of them. We explained about what possession means, how Israel, the spiritual man, going to possess Jacob, and the stranger that sojourn with Jacob. Jacob is going to be converted. That's what's going to make him turn to Israel. The stranger is going to learn from Jacob, because Jacob is going to learn from this Israel, which is the spiritual man, which is one nation. They're going to become one nation. We also spoke about the servants, who land the people going to live in, which is the Most High's land. So we're going to talk more in detail about the second part of what's going on in Isaiah 14. And this one is called Lucifer. It's going to tell you who is Lucifer is. It's not who you think it is all the time, because there's a spiritual Lucifer and it's a carnal Lucifer. So we need for you to open up your spiritual eyes. Elders, Stephen, you want to expound on some of that?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. As we have done in all of these videos, we're going to let you know you're going to have to put your spiritual eyes on. You cannot see what the Bible is saying if you are thinking carnally, as we discussed before. We were under the carnal understanding of the law all the way up and until the manifestation of God, which is Christ, died. When he died, the carnal understanding of the law died when Christ died. When he rose up again, we got remarried to Christ under the spiritual law. Again, I know it's difficult for you to understand spirit. You have to be taught spirit, because you've been taught carnal for so long, and this is new. But it is a real thing. And if you don't convert to spirit like Jacob converted to Israel, if you don't do that, you will not be redeemed. Because, again, these physical bodies are not going into the kingdom.
No.
These bodies are sinful.
Yes.
We will not be in the kingdom with these bodies.
No.
But the spirits, the people that purge Jacob out, will get the kingdom.
Yes.
We want you to get your pens and your pads. Follow these precepts that we're giving you. All right? Everything that we've said, we've brought precepts to back them up. We're not going to give you some precepts that we made up and said, well, it must mean this because of this or because of that. The precepts line up with the spiritual understanding of the law. Okay? So now we're going to read again. We're going to go into Job 11 and verse 6. I'm just going to read it, and it says,
go ahead, Elder.
Job 11:6. And he would show thee the secrets of wisdom. You have to be taught wisdom. This is the secret, how you understand wisdom. That they are double to that which is. Okay? He's telling you the scriptures have two meanings.
Two.
One carnal, one spiritual. Christ left us spiritual.
Yes.
Later on, we're gonna explain to you what the comforter is. Not this class, but continue to listen. We're gonna show you that the comforter is talking about the spiritual law.
Yes.
We're gonna explain it to you.
Double meaning, Israel.
But for now, you're gonna need to understand spiritual. Put on your spiritual thinking cap.
Yes.
That understanding.
Yes.
If you're trying to understand what this says carnally, you're not gonna get it.
You're not gonna get it. It's a deeper understanding, and we're here to help. We're sincerely here to help. We're not here to get rich, get your money, to look smarter than the next person. We actually see what's going on in the world, and we want this thing to end.
Yes.
That's all you have.
That's all I got.
Now we're gonna to back some things that what Elder spoke about. We're gonna go to Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 1. As you know, that I like to get some precepts to get into the spirit before class even begins. So these are just precepts to help to get you into the spirit, and also us also. So you can get better understanding as we go over the topic today. Because the topic today is Isaiah 14, and it's Lucifer. But we're going to start at Ezekiel chapter 37 far as the spiritual, some more understanding to back up what the elder spoke about double meaning. So if you could read that, Elder.
Ezekiel chapter 37 verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
The hand of the Lord was upon me,
Mm-hmm.
and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord.
You see what he just said? The spirit of the Lord. So it's a deeper understanding than carnal. Read.
And set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones.
Read.
And caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. Now,
that's a very deep understanding. It's so many precepts to break this down, but the class is not about this. It said very dry. Very dry is not getting any water.
Yes.
The Most High is not, no water is there.
Yes.
Ephesians 5 and 26 is what it's talking about right there. And we'll give you that. But what it's talking, I wanted you to understand you have to go out in the spirit.
Yes.
So the class is about Isaiah 14. But I want to put you in the mindset that it's a deeper understanding. Can we go to Ezekiel chapter 11 verse 24? Now these are precepts I go over to put us deeper into the spirit, because the more you get more in the spirit, more understanding of the spiritual precepts that you get. Could you read Ezekiel 11:24?
Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 24. Afterward, the Spirit took me up and brought me in a vision by the Spirit of God.
You see that? You see that? So, in a vision, in the spirit, he actually then wasn't taken up. It's a vision in his mind. Read.
By the Spirit of God into Chaldea, to them of the captivity. So the vision that I had seen went up from me.
See? So it's a vision in his mind. He sees something deeper. We got two more. Go to Revelation chapter 21 and 10. We just getting in the spirit right now to let you know that it's a double meaning. That's all we're going through, a double meaning. We just getting precepts to prove that it's a double meaning. It's a deeper understanding that you got to get the kingdom. 21 and 10. Revelation 21 and 10.
Revelation chapter 21 verse 10. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God.
Now, we said it before that a mount is a high nation. See, a great and high nation.
Yes.
But the thing that we want to concentrate on, you see, he carried him away again in the spirit.
In the spirit.
It's a deeper understanding. Let's go to Revelation chapter 17, verse 3.
Revelation chapter 17, verse 3.
That's it.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness.
So this is John the Revelator is talking to this angel. So he took him deeper. What we trying to do right now is, elders, take you deeper in the spirit world. That's what we do. So far as a deeper understanding.
Yes.
So it is a deeper understanding in the spirit. That's what we're doing. Just like this angel doing, we're taking you further into the spirit understanding what the Bible is saying.
That's
Read.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-covered beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
See, that's a lot of understanding right there. If you heard us go over this in the previous class about purple thorns, we read about this. But now you know it's a deeper understanding far as carnal. We know the carnal side. Reading the carnal side is like reading a novel. You want to get deeper in this Bible. You want to eat this Bible up. You want to get all the understanding. You want to get all the meat off the bone what this Bible is talking about. So we're going to start class now. So we're going to go over Isaiah chapter 14. And I think we stopped at verse 3.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve.
Okay, go to Isaiah, because we want to look up what this hard bondage is about. A lot of people think that only Esau or other oppressors, the carnal oppressors, can bring hard bondage. But it's also a spiritual oppressor out there. So this is what we can identify in the spirit world. So we're going to go to Isaiah 10 and 27.
Isaiah chapter 10, verse 27. And it shall come to pass in that day that his burden shall be taken away from off thy shoulder, and his yoke from off thy neck. And the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing.
See, you automatically think that you got a yoke around your neck. But he said, taken away from off thy shoulder. So it's a burden also. It's a spiritual part too. We was taught, visiting other places, that it's always a yoke around your neck, which it is. It was carnally, but it's also one spiritually. A burden can be a yoke also. So we're going to go to, was that it, Elder?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, go to Psalms chapter 105 and 15. So it's a deeper understanding.
Psalms chapter 105, verse 15, saying, touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm.
Us. This what happened when you do this. Read.
Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land.
Remember we talked about earlier about this water because it was dry. That's what he's talking about. Water is understanding. That's what he's doing. It's not going to be water. When you do this to us, this is what happened. Read.
He brake the whole staff of bread.
The bread, the word of God. You're not going to get a deeper spiritual understanding of the word of God. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. So we're going to break down some more going over Isaiah 14 and 4.
There's a couple more about this rest.
Bring it out there, Elder.
Matthew 11 and 28.
Matthew 11:28.
Because you got to understand that certain things are going to happen. If you continue along the path that the Most High sent you, you're going to get that rest. Read that for me.
Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden.
See, it's talking about that burden. Heavy laden. Right now, you heavy laden. A lot of the people are actually being oppressed. They don't know it.
They don't know it.
But when you find yourself tired, working for the Most High,
I'm glad you brought that out.
A lot of times you ain't working for the Most High. Sometimes you working for a king. Okay? You're not following the Most High. You're following this king. But it says, come unto me, all ye that labor, and are heavy laden. Read on.
And I will give you rest.
He's telling you. He's going to give you rest. He's going to give you rest in this spiritual understanding of this law. See, because this is the thing. When you following the spiritual understanding of the law, you don't have a taskmaster. You just like that ant.
Yes.
The ant don't need an overseer.
Don't need it.
He don't need somebody telling him what to do. He knows how to get his understanding in his season. He doesn't have to go and burden himself. Okay, I'll give you the understanding, but first you got to be my slave. He don't have to worry about that. Give me Psalms 116 and verse 7.
Psalm
chapter 116.
Chapter 116.
And verse 7. You don't have to do all of that in order to get the kingdom. What you have to do is what Christ told you to do. You don't have to serve a man. You don't have to serve me, Elder Sam. You don't have to serve us. You got to serve the Most High. And the Most High don't require you to do all of the things that you're doing that somebody's telling you. You have to do this in order to get the kingdom. You're going to start at 1. You're going to end at 7.
Psalms chapter 116, verse 1. I love the Lord, but because he hath heard my voice and my supplication.
You got to speak to the Lord. And you have to submit to the Most High, what he's telling you to do. Read on.
Because he hath inclined his ear unto me.
He's going to hear you. If you stop following other gods and start following the Most High, then he's gonna hear you. He done had his hand stuck out for 6,000 years.
6,000 years.
All you have to do is call on him and stop following these other gods. Read on.
Therefore will I call upon him as long as I live.
We have to call on the Most High. Read on.
The sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell got hold upon me. I found trouble and sorrow.
That's what you finding now. You're finding that because you're not following the Most High. You have somebody telling you to follow them, right? And now you're being oppressed by them. You have to follow the Most High.
Taking advantage of.
That's right. Read on.
Then called I upon the name of the Lord.
You have to call on his name. The name is this Bible. You got to start reading this Bible.
His word.
Start understanding what he's saying.
His word.
His
word.
Not your king's. Read on.
O Lord, I beseech thee, deliver my soul.
Deliver my soul. Read.
Gracious is the Lord, and righteous. Yea, our God is merciful.
He is merciful. He is merciful. Go to him, not your king, not your God. Go to him, and he will have mercy on you. Read on.
The Lord preserveth the simple.
You are simple. He see you as simple. What's that scripture? How long you simple ones, you gonna love simplicity?
Proverbs 1 and 22.
He's sitting there telling you. He calling you simple because you literally think a man is gonna give you the kingdom. When he said you gotta go through him, you gotta go through Christ.
You got to.
But read on.
I was brought low, And he helped me.
He's going to help you. Right now you low because you in prison. You in captivity.
Psychological.
You in a psychological prison. You literally think that this man, if you don't follow him, you're not going to get the kingdom because he's the only one that got knowledge. You're going to find out as we bring this thing out. A lot of that stuff he's telling you, when you look at it and you start asking where the precepts are, they can't provide. But spiritually, the precepts going to tell you everything you need to know. We're going to give them to you. Ain't going to charge you a dime.
What the elder is saying, that man, when he say that man, he's saying that man other than Christ or the Most High.
That's right.
That's what he's saying. Because if you don't follow these words, you're following another man.
That's right. Read on. Verse 6.
Verse 6. Psalms chapter 116, verse 6. The Lord preserveth the simple. I was brought low, and he helped me. Return unto thy rest.
Return to your rest. We just read who your rest was. It's Christ.
It's Christ.
You got to come to... He spoke every time he gave an answer, he gave a spiritual answer.
All the time.
That's the rest.
All the time.
The spiritual law. When he died, the veil rent in two. So that old a veil is a garment is a doctrine.
That's it.
Okay? That old doctrine died. That doctrine under Moses, and the spiritual doctrine began when he died. So it says, return unto thy rest, O my soul. Read on.
For the Lord hath dealt bountifully with thee.
He's going to deal bountifully with you whenever you start doing what he told you to do. Not what your king, your pastor, your bishop, your deacon, or whomever it is that you are following. You have to follow him so that you can get that rest.
That's right.
Isaiah chapter 14 verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how that the oppressor ceased. How hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. So it's just talking about Babylon, the city. What is it saying?
What he said right there? That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say. I've always heard that it's saying it was, now that's Esau. No. Babylon means confusion. That's what it means, confusion. So you can be in a city. A city is a lot of people around. And this person is confused. Well, that's what it means. Babylon means confused. And how that confusion stopped? Because this king is teaching you wrong. So how was it seized? That's what Isaiah is saying. You want to add something to it, Elder?
Oh, absolutely. Because this is the thing. I said a long time ago in a previous video, the greatest trick the devil ever did was to convince you that he didn't exist.
He didn't exist.
This thing here is talking about two different things.
It's spiritual.
One of them is carnal, as you have been taught, because everything Esau fought, right?
That's what they say.
And then there's the spiritual part. Two sides.
Every time.
The same coin. Don't be tricked.
No one exempt from these scriptures. It applies to everyone. So you have to check that man out also.
Yeah, I got something to show you regarding that proverb about Babylon. Now we're going to go to Revelation 17 and 3. And we're going to show you. You've read the carnal part. We just read. 17 and 3. And you're going to see now it's going to be telling you something spiritual.
Spiritual.
Let's go to Revelation 17 and 3.
Revelation chapter 17 verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit.
Stop. Spirit. This is spiritual. You've learned carnally who Babylon is. Two sides of the same coin. One is carnal. The other one is spiritual. You know the carnal leader of Babylon, but you don't know the spiritual leader of Babylon.
What he's saying, Elder saying, is some behind the scenes that's spiritual. That's spiritual, something that you can't see. It's something behind the scenes. Carnal you can see, but it's something behind the scenes.
Right. You got to have spiritual eyes to see it.
Yes.
Read that.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness.
We're in the wilderness right now. Ain't no somebody gonna come and, well, we here right now, and then we gonna catch a UFO, and then we gonna go
oh my God.
to the wilderness.
Oh
no,
my
you
God.
in the wilderness
You
right
in the
now.
wilderness. You in the wilderness.
Right now. Okay? Read on.
And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet covered beast.
A scarlet covered beast. Now, ain't a woman a doctrine.
The woman, the doctor.
A woman is a doctrine, and a woman is a nation. All right? This talking about a nation, though.
That's what it's talking about.
But read on.
Full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Okay, so now you sit there, you think, well, just talking about Esau. Red, scarlet.
Yeah.
That's Esau. Right? Read on.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and purple. Purple.
Did you say purple?
Purple.
Because purple has a very interesting translation.
It does.
In this Bible.
It does.
Because it represents certain people. Primarily Jacob. These are the leaders of Jacob. The spiritual Babylon. But read on.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple,
correct,
and scarlet color.
So 2 sides of the same coin. 2. One color represents one of the brothers. The other color represents the other brother. Read on.
And decked with gold and precious stones.
Who do you think them precious stones are? Them stones is the
Israelites.
So that's letting you know he decked with y'all.
That's right.
Y'all the one giving him all y'all money.
Yes.
All that renown and such. Read on.
And pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness and of her fornication.
You drinking that cup.
You're drinking that cup.
You drinking that cup. Because every time you go there and you listen to that doctrine, that wine that he's telling you, full of those lies, you're drinking that cup.
Well, this is so heavy, bringing out Elder. And we know it because we all praise to the Most High. He blessed us with these spiritual eyes. But I'm going to go back up here to 3, since you brought this out.
Yeah, bring it out.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. Who's supposed to be on our head? Christ. This woman is on their head.
That's right.
So this is spiritual.
Yes.
Christ is always on our head.
Yes.
And who's sitting above Christ? The Most High.
Right.
That's how in our head all the time.
Yes.
So when this body, when people, I used to visit this congregation, and they say the body, the foot, and this and that, they put it in people's head like their leadership is a head. In my mind, it was God every time.
Yes.
I knew I was different then. God is always my head.
Yes.
The words coming out of his mouth is Christ. It's always on my head.
Yes.
So this woman right here is sitting on top of Esau and Jacob.
Yes.
Which are nations.
Yes.
One in purple, one of them in scarlet.
That's right.
All praise to the Most High for bringing that out there.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Let's get the
we'll get that to y'all.
Yes.
Verse